Today in this episode, I'll be showing you some perennials and annuals that I'll be planting during this transitional period as we move closer to cooler season. And I know for some of you, autumn probably has already arrived. So I'm really excited to be planting them up in these beautiful self-watering containers, which were sent to me by Crescent Garden. So thank you to Crescent Garden for sponsoring today's episode. I'm really excited to be planting different types of plants, testing, putting these sort of plants in these self-watering containers, because after I saw the results of this, I planted this thing for 7 weeks. I got these different types of basils, beautiful snail flower vine, and the eggplant here. It's just everything had either double or triple in size. And in this kind of a garden that doesn't have that much sun, everything is really slow growing. Basically, after I planted these in for 6 weeks, I didn't have to water at all. And out of those, there were 2 weeks that we had really high temperatures up to the upper 90s Fahrenheit. So certain days we reach over 100 degrees, like 100 or 102 Fahrenheit. I didn't have to do a thing to this, and those plants just kept growing and they didn't stress throughout this heat. So let's get started. I'll show you the different plants that I'll be putting in and show you the features that I love about this container. For us in Zone 10 in Southern California, the temperature's kind of bouncing around. You'll get like a week of gloominess that feels kind of like autumn. It's a little bit chilly. At night we might reach like a low 60s. But then all of a sudden, like this week, we bounced back to 90. And yesterday actually was 101 degrees. So yeah, it's kind of this transitional phase. So it can be a bit tricky to put plants in. But if you guys are already in fall weather, you're probably already planting your fall crops right now. But for us, we still got a bit more time. That's why I started putting in the zucchini, because the zucchini does really well in about like between 60s to 80s degrees Fahrenheit, even I think like 50 or 55 degrees. So not the lows is not too cold yet, but so I think this transitional period for the more southern states, southern places with more mild winters, you can still plant things like that. So I just planted one of the more square shape mod self-watering pots up on the rooftop. As everything fills in, I think it's going to be quite nice. Calendula, that's one of the plants I really enjoy growing in the cooler season, because that's when they grow best for us. Once it gets warm, they'll start to die off. So this is a transitional period. It's really good to get those growing again. Calendulas are edible. They're so good for you. You can take those petals, dehydrate them, add them to your teas. They're really pretty. You can dress up your salads or as a garnish in your foods. And I got the sweet alyssum there. They also does a bit of that cascading waterfall effect. And they smell so good. They smell like honey. And they bring in the pollinators, the beneficial insects. So it's really great. And then the other ones, that pair of self-watering containers, I just wanted to have a pair to kind of feel a bit more uniform in that area. Because I have it closer to the wall, I didn't want to attract too much attention from downstairs. So I didn't want to have like bold, bright colored flowers. I went for instead like this deep purple, more elegant purple bok choy. Bok choy is a really good plant, so is like mizuna, or mustard. These sort of leafy greens are really good for cooler season. Purple bok choy is one of my favorites to grow. They're beautiful, they're tasty, they're succulent, beautiful as an arrangement. And then I paired them with the dwarf size white diantha, so they'll stay small, and since they're going to be in the front anyway. I also like to grow pansies in the winter. Here in the winter we can still grow, or fall, just a cooler season. But pansies don't tolerate the heat as well as calendulas, and that's why I chose to grow calendulas right now. Until it gets cooler, I'll add in like the different types of pansies, because those are some beautiful and fragrant edible flowers. I also added some marigolds to the garden. I haven't thought about how I would pair that up in the self-watering containers yet. Marigolds, it's just such a autumn color, and they do well in the heat and during the cooler time as well. So I ended up planting some marigolds along with some purple bok choy in a regular container. And what I noticed is that during the same time of the day, like even 9 a.m. or during noon, these purple bok choy leaves would start drooping,
which is quite normal. But if you look at the purple bok choy planted in the self-watering containers, the leaves grow thicker, they're more leathery, and they just don't droop because there's always water available for the plants to uptake whenever they need. The radishes, the carrots, stuff like that I look forward to growing, but it's still quite warm for us, so I'm not starting that yet. But for those of you who are ready in autumn, hopefully you're already growing those. Oh, and cilantro, coriander, one of my favorite herbs that we use quite a lot of around here, but it's still quite warm right now, so I'm not going to put those in yet. Even the purple bok choy, I was just giving it a shot, guys, because we had a gloomy week, but then it got hot again, so I hope they're not going to bolt. Usually these type of leafy greens, I wait till it's a bit cooler. So yeah, this time of the year, it's mostly about getting into growing some salad greens. I really enjoy chrysanthemums as the flowers for the autumn season. And the snap peas and sugar snap, stuff like that, I'm still saving that for the cooler time. In fact, we actually grow that in the winter here. So yeah, the tip for growing something during this transitional period is to find plants that have a more wide range of temperature tolerance. So now let's talk about those cool features that I love about the containers.
This Mod True Drop self-watering container. This is the largest one they have for this sort of style. I really like this slim, simple, kind of a modern design. Most importantly, it fits in my space. Oh, I also put this thing on wheels. Oh. Let's talk a little bit about this container. These containers can go indoors or outdoors, but when you grow it inside, make sure you do plug on in that bottom, that little red plug. Keep that plugged in so that water won't overflow, which wouldn't be an issue when you're growing inside anyway. When you're growing it outside, you do not want to keep that plugged because it's more for in case, of overwatering, like getting excess water from the rain. And then there's the other hole, which is for draining. Say if you need to move the pot somewhere else, you want to lighten the load, you can just unplug that and release the water.
When you first unbox the container, the only thing you need to do before planting is to install the silicone piece and the drain plug. It can be a snug fit, so rubbing a little bit of alcohol on the parts first really helps to get them in easier.
Or you can even put in their coupler, which would help to guide the water wherever you want. All you got to do is connect a water hose to that drain and guide the water wherever you want. So obviously it depends how much sun you get in your space and what kind of plants you're putting in here. But roughly you can get around not watering the container for about 6 weeks, give or take. What I do suggest after you plant it in is to water it in that first week just to get those plants going and get those roots kind of established more. And after that first week, they should start taking care of themselves. And here is where you'd fill up the water for the reservoir. It's all down here. Once you fill it up, when it's full, you would see the water level indicator. When it's completely like you can't see anything, it means it's empty. If you just see like an outer ring, it means it's at 50%. And all blue here, the inner and the outer ring, that would mean it's 100% filled. What I like about self-watering containers is that it's reliable because these plants would be taking up the water as much as they need. And the way it works is that the cone in the center is designed to help wick water. So it goes deep enough into the water reservoir to help draw that water to keep the soil moist. Another benefit to bottom watering is that it helps to promote more root growth, deeper root growth, so the plants would just be less stressed that way. The temperature doesn't fluctuate as drastically, so the plants just won't get stressed as easily. Another thing is with like a smart watering system, which I really do love, and I do have some of that going in the garden, but there is that fear of it not working. What if I'm away? What if the battery didn't work? When you're using technology, when something fails, that's it, And so I don't have that kind of a fear if I plant something into a self-watering container, as long as I fill it up before I go somewhere. So this container, I planted mostly perennials except for the Swiss chard, but the color is just too gorgeous I couldn't pass up.
Swiss chards actually can do really well in pretty warm and pretty cold temperatures, so it's really reliable crop any time of the year. Autumn is also a really great time for plants to get established. The pepino melon and the double-petaled chrysanthemum not looking so good right now, so I'm allowing this time for them to get settled in. This variegated Cuban oregano is super beautiful and isn't picky in this mild winter climate, so I hope to see them grow and fill in this corner. Finally, lamb's ear. I'm growing more of this to use as cotton pads for skincare. The leaves feel so luxurious. I planted them here so the leaves can stay dry and plush. The roots can draw up moisture from below, keeping the top clean and velvety. It's only 3:30 p.m. right now, and we're not getting that much sun on the patio. It feels like it's evening time right now as the days are getting shorter. But yeah, I got some eggplants growing in here. I'm really surprised because with a whole lot of sun, they're still actually putting out a good amount of growth. And this container is actually food safe. And what I like about self-watering containers is that there's no nutrient loss like if you were to plant it in a container, a regular container where these pots would just have these drainage holes and you just lose nutrients so quickly you have to keep reapplying. But with these ones, you can apply the nutrients even just through that hole where you fill up the water reservoir. That would be a really great way to feed it, and basically everything that you put in here is going to stay in this container. I also got different style self-watering containers on the other side, and then this other plant that's variegated called Mickey Mouse plant. And I got these draping with the bacoba, which is like a Vietnamese or a more tropical greens that you can grow quite easily. They love water. They love moisture. That's why I decided to pair it with this Mickey Mouse plant. Oh my gosh, and we got the bitter melon. I don't know how this became a volunteer here because this is all brand new soil that I made, but the leaves are way bigger than the one growing up top. Even though I kind of want to remove it, I kind of am tempted to just keep it here and see what it does. I'm just excited to see how these plants will do in these containers, especially now that we're going to the cooler season, and I'll be sure to share some updates with you guys. The thing I love most about these self-watering containers is that there's no guessing and you can just get anyone to pretty much come help filling this up, and there's no risk of technology failure. These are definitely an investment piece, but they make gardening simple, especially for those of you with a really busy lifestyle. The only thing I wish was different is that if these pots were deeper so I can plant my tropical fruit trees, since they're so precious to me and they love moisture. But there are different styles that they offer with, that the pots are deeper. It's just that those styles doesn't fit my space. So if you're interested, check them out. I'll leave a link in the description box below along with my discount code. Thank you so much, you guys, for making to the end of the video, and thank you to Crescent Garden for sponsoring today's episode. I can't wait to see how everything grows and give you guys an update on that. Let me know in the comments, if you had a container like this, what would you plant in there? Thank you again, you guys, for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.